So they told us that wealth was locked behind boardroom doors that we would never enter. That freedom was reserved for the privileged, the connected, the already rich. But let me tell you something. That's a lie. We are the generation that's rewriting the rules. We don't need $1 million trust fund. We don't need a landlord's permission. What we need is a blueprint. That's exactly what I'm about to give you. This is Airbnb Pro Tips. And I'm your host, Earl McCray. And every week, we're breaking down real game on how to launch, how to scale, and how to automate your Airbnb passive business, all without owning property. We're giving the strategies, the money moves, and the mindset shifts that separate those from the dream from those who execute. Here, we celebrate wins, big and small. Here, we're talking to real entrepreneurs, the one who took action and they changed their lives. Here, we're giving the blueprint so you can stop watching and start building. So, if you're ready to tap into your God-given ability to turn knowledge into passive income, to create a system that works for you instead of you working for it, hey, welcome home. This is where transformation begins. This is where faith mind meets execution. This is where you level up your Airbnb game. This is Airbnb Pro Tips.
Hey, hey, hey. All right, Pro Tips. Let's get it. All right. All right, boys and girls and boys. Again, excited to be with you guys. We are in our the second. Well, we're going into the back end of our first quarter. We're going to finish March real strong here, and that'll get us where we need to be, which is momentum as we go into the second quarter. But hey, I guess I wanted to start this first segment off with some STR and Airbnb stuff in the news. Sometimes I find stuff that's funny, sometimes just newsworthy. Nonetheless, I did want to share this with you. All right. So sometimes we have situations where reality imitates life. Sometimes life imitates reality. Well, found this. I thought it was interesting. Tourist is expecting a sea view room and gets a hilarious surprise from their Airbnb guests. Here's the story goes as follows. So a German travel influencer and her partner, they book an Airbnb in Westerland, Germany. And so they're anticipating a serene sea view room for their weekend getaway. So this might have been one of those higher end experiences is how they're titled, as opposed to a stay. They were looking for an experience. All right, the article goes on. Upon arrival, they were delighted to see what appeared to be a beautiful ocean scene right by their bed window. However, upon closer inspection, they discovered that the sea view was merely a cleverly placed poster illuminated by a lamp, creating the illusion, the illusion of a real ocean view. Now, the couple couldn't help but laugh at the unexpected twist. So maybe they didn't spend a lot, okay? Sharing their experiences on their TikTok, but there are travel influencers, so they probably like to do stories, human interest stories. And this is great marketing for them, their TikTok video went viral and got nearly 4 million views. This amusing incident serves as a lighthearted reminder to travelers. Be wary, be careful. Read the property descriptions and reviews before booking. Now, guys, I want you guys to take a look at the photos and tell me, honestly, what you think. What do you think here? Okay. All right. Photo. Let me see if I can zoom in. I'm not sure if I can here. Get rid of it. Okay. It's always an ad in the way here. Okay. So this is the view. We were completely ripped off on Airbnb is what the caption said. Okay. And I don't know. I don't know how good the photos were, but apparently they were thinking one thing and they got something completely different. Okay. But they're laughing about it. And again, 4 million views for an influencer is nothing to sneeze about. So anyway, I thought that was of interest to me. Hold on, let me see if this is actually gonna be what I think it is. Let me see. Is this the TikTok
Leute, wir sind
video?
gerade im Airbnb angekommen und wir wurden so hart verarscht.
Oh yeah, this is the
Wir dachten
TikTok
so,
video.
wow, was haben wir für eine gute View. Und jetzt schaut mal, das ist einfach ein Foto. Und wir sind im Keller. Und das Beste kommt jetzt noch, das Highlight. Oh, wir können es beleuchten. Die Aussicht. Wow.
They were really taken back with this video. Nonetheless, it's always interesting when we can share some stuff that is funny and newsworthy at the same time. All right. So let's continue here. Let's continue. What is going on? My share button. Okay. Share. Okay. All right. Boys and girls, girls and boys. All right. So we now want to talk a little bit about some fun facts that I did find for your amusement and mine. Okay. Okay. Hmm. All right. Oddly enough, I'm trying to understand what my technical challenges are today. All right. All right. So, okay. Play this. Got it. Not sure if it's a Wi-Fi issue I'm having or what's going on, but hopefully my editor will get it fixed. All right. So some fun facts, y'all. Some fun facts about STR and Airbnb in general. Many of you may or may not glean any insight from this, but I thought it was interesting. Okay, so here we go. What was the original name of Airbnb when it was first launched in 2008? So it was launched in 2008. What was the original room? Was it the original name of the business? Excuse me. Was it A, rent a room? Was it B, home away? Was it C, airbed and breakfast? Or was it D, stay easy? Run a room, home away, airbed and breakfast, or stay easy? Now, I actually saw the video. The founder actually had a video about this whole name of the space. And interestingly enough, the original name, the branding, wasn't Airbnb, it was Air Bed and Breakfast. Airbed and Breakfast. All right, I think Airbnb is a little easier to roll off the tongue. Would you not agree? All right, next fun fact is which city had the most Airbnb listing as of 2023? Now, I personally did not get this right the first time I was given it. All right, here's your options. Is it NYC? Is it Paris? Is it London? Or is it Tokyo? What are your thoughts? Now, you wouldn't be wrong if you're just thinking about the size of the city, because I was kind of hedging in that direction. And that would be clearly NYC. NYC is not the right answer, though. All right. What's the second largest city? You would be right to say London. What's the third largest city? You'd be right to say Tokyo. But none of those are correct. The answer is actually Paris. Paris boasts the city with the largest number of listings. So if you're like me, I'm a big when I go into a market, I'm looking at competition. Competition. You know, if I have a 4-bedroom house, how much competition do I have? If I have a 5-bedroom house, what's the competition? Well, you got a lot of competition in Paris, but you got a lot of visitors too. So because of the demand, you can support the number of listings. So that's always important when you're trying to find the right market to launch your business in. Okay. All right. A few more questions and then we're going to shift gears. All right. Here we go. What is the most expensive Airbnb rental ever listed? Here we go. Is it a castle in France? B, a ski resort in at the Aspen? Is it D, or excuse me, is it C, a private island in Fuji? Or is it D, a luxury yacht in Monaco? For whatever our choice is, we have the castle in France, ski resort in the Aspens, private island in Fuji, and the luxury yacht in Monaco. I also did not get this right, but in hindsight, it makes sense. What would you think? Thoughts? Thoughts? Ah, for most people, if they're just being completely honest, you may have gone with the castle. You may have been thinking perhaps a yacht, but y'all, let's keep it 100. It's neither of that. It's got to be the private island, y'all. The private island in Fiji was boasting some godly rental of like $50,000 per night, and and it was booked, and it was booked, y'all. All right, here we go. One more. We'll go with this one. Which of these unusual places has been listed on Airbnb? Which of these unusual places have been listed on Airbnb? Is it a potato shaped home? Is it a giant shoe house? Is it a converted airplane? Is it none of the above? Or is it all of the above? Thoughts? Potato shaped home, a giant shoe house, a converted airplane, none of the above, or all of the above. Drum roll, drum roll. The correct answer would be all of the above. All of the above. So that's our segment there. That's our segment there. All right. All right. Now, for our next segment, it's going to require me to pull back the curtain a little bit and just tell you um, what inspired this segment was the fact that we do have a lot of crazies, crazy situations that we address over the course of our Airbnb business and also the properties that we manage. Like some of this stuff, like you just can't make up. Like where did this come from? So I just want to pull back the covers and share out one, maybe three kind of weird, interesting, maybe scenarios that we've dealt with. So let me just pull back the curtains real quick. Um, all right, so that's not uh, 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 and the wrong texture. Hang on. Wrong text thread. Communications. That might be it. That might be it. Oh no. All right. And I keep all these text threads in one place because clearly you see one and it can kind of morph. Okay, here we go. I found it. Okay. Um, so we had a situation, right? In this very real situation, we had a person who was, for lack of better words, had perfect reviews um from every place they stayed at, with the one eerie exception. Good communicator, pleasant to other people, easy, but they are absolute messy person. And we saw that coming in. I thought we would probably not bite the curse. But so it's one thing when you have a guest that is kind of like in and out over the weekend. But this particular guest was with us for 6 months. And because one of our houses, we have a very unique niche where we basically are targeting travel nurses, corporate accommodations, and they actually share the common areas and have, in this one particular house, we have 7 individual private rooms with shared accommodations. And we have a team that kind of keeps it up. But the one thing that we state multiple times, right? In order to keep the rates low, we do not, in parentheses, provide housekeeping, because we want them to be able to spend as minimum as possible with us and send the lion's share back home, if that makes sense. Okay. So that's the niche that we use for that one particular property. So I give you the backstory, and I'll read this communication. Um, so on exit, the guest um was looking for a review, and we had to keep it 100. So here's what the review said. T, I'm not going to use the actual name, was a model guest during their 4-month stay. 4 months, shall not 6, 4. He was a great communicator, consistently followed many of the house rules, with the exception of on multiple occasions, we had to send gentle reminders about cleaning, about picking up in the kitchen, about tidying up common areas, and the overall general maintenance. And unfortunately, this led to reoccurring additional cleaning costs from my team. So here's the thing. If this occupied rooms, is the moment one room is no longer occupied, my team will go in, do a great job of cleaning the room as well as the common areas. But this guy, oh my goodness, he was leaving food in the oven. One time I got a message, he was leaving, I guess he likes to fry fish or fried chicken or whatever. Grease would be left in the oven. That is kind of a hazard for y'all who don't realize that shouldn't be. Um, so the long and the short of it is, we end up taking the brunt of a lot of those additional costs, and it had to pan out in his review. So had he been more proactive about maintaining a tidy shared space, we would have easily given him a 5 stars. That said, he was respectful, easy to communicate with, and overall a positive guest to host. So as much as we try to bless this guy with the review, you can make some people happy, but you cannot make everybody happy. So his response back, y'all, was, um, is, where do you put it? You are welcome. In the future, I will try to be cleaner. I just was having some challenges, which made me move slower and run late for work. Oftentimes, I had to abandon things until I got back because I would run out of time. So sorry for this. I hope that my review doesn't open up a rejection for other hosts. Thank you for a wonderful stay. And he even went as far as messaging me directly. And I mean, he did give us a decent review, y'all. He said these people are wonderful. I have been with them for 6 months and could do another with them. You will not regret to stay at any one of their homes. So yeah, we got a 5-star review, and guys, he spent almost $5,000 with us. The love was definitely not lost. Okay, I think we got time. All right, I want to do another crazy but real guest interaction. Crazy but real. Um, all right, all right. So here's the backstory. Um, the backstory is, so we have this lady. Names have been changed to protect the innocent, who is coming from another country. She has her assistant book a room for her. Now I gotta really be very, very transparent. We have evolved in our thinking. We're much more pragmatic in that years in the past, um, only the person that was reserving the space um, could be in the property. But we've had so many iterations of a parent reserving it for their child in college, a husband reserving it for their wife. There's been so many iterations, so it kind of gets blurry. So sometimes we got to look at it like case by case. In this example, we may have made a slight error, but this person was coming to the U.S. for a conference or something. Their assistant was booking it from them. The assistant assured us that the individual would basically have access to the communication because we do so many automated messages. We just wanted to make everything seamless. Kind of, it was crazy because the guest who actually stayed in the place never got access to the communication log, and so they ended up doing, because they had an account. We did a great job of making sure we vetted, and we knew that they had an account, and the idea that they would just be added to the communication, but the assistant was paying for it. Well, didn't work out that way. And the long and the short of it is, this guest came in and she was kind of horrible to the other guests. She was not pleasant at all. And this guest also, you can't make this stuff up, uh complained about the previous guest I just mentioned, who wasn't always on top of his tidiness. All right, so she left she left us a breadcrumbs of less than desirable messages. And what I'll share with you is, before we wrote this particular guest message, um, another guest reached out to us, and they had this to say. And again, you can't make up some of this stuff. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Because the moral of it all is that you you kind of win and lose the game based on expectations. And if you can set very clear expectations up front, um, um, you mitigate any challenges. All right, so okay, all right, that was another conversation. Okay, Okay, all right. So here's the message, y'all. All right, it says Earl and Yvonne, I just want to let you know that myself and three other guests have no problems at all with the cleanliness of the home. This was or is there is a guest here that is very picky and rude. She keeps asking everyone, do they see a cleaning lady? I responded with yes. I have seen one come and go. I just don't want people to give their all to be hospitable, be on edge because some lame guest who is here for a moment is making us feel uncomfortable. She she is also very ill mannered. She doesn't knock on the door before she enters. I thought all people did that. Well, she walked in on me in the bathroom. Oh, wow. Okay. That was not a pleasant thing. Uh, of course, we responded, hey, thanks for keeping us in the loop. Uh, I'd like to better understand the situation regarding the other guests. Could you clarify? Is she still on the property? Is there been any specific incidents beyond her asking about our cleaning schedule and not respecting closed doors? We want to ensure that all guests feel comfortable and are respected. By the way, thanks for keeping us in the loop. They responded back, Earl, we haven't seen her, but if she shows up again, I will quickly inform you. And that is, he writes, that is terrible that people of color make it so hard for you to run a business, especially when they're trying to do business with other people of color. I like to give you and your wife credit where credit is due. Again, have not seen her, but I will let you know if there was anything else. Um, yeah, okay. So that was interactions with the guests, and inevitably, I had to write her this guest a review, and the review stated in the following way. Again, I'm gonna change the names. Susan booked this reservation on behalf of her boss, Michael Michelle, who is traveling from abroad. Moving forward, we will likely no longer allow third-party bookings as it created communication delays and misunderstandings. Additionally, other guests mentioned that Michelle was somewhat rude, possibly due to private rooms, an unexpected private room with shared common areas set up. While this may have impacted her experience, we want to emphasize that this does not reflect negatively on Susan, who arranged the booking. Instead, we are sharing our observations to inform other hosts uh, so they can be properly prepared. Okay. So again, in this situation, um, I think as you scale your business up, it's important to do things the way you do the small things and the way you do everything. We're kind of coming to a point where we want to systematize as much as we can, and I think no third party bookings is a safe way of doing it. Now, mind you, we're transitioning out of a slow period. That being said, we want to make the absolute most money for our co-host partners. And that may be why she got through. That might be why we just didn't say a hard no. But in a general sense, I would say you're better served for no third party bookings. Okay. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. So moving on in terms of wins for the week. So one of the wings and one of the strategies that I'm teaching the my one-on-one um, coaching clients is when you're in a market that has seasonal demand, you can't make money. I mean, it's very hard not to make money in a high season because people are coming. There's demand. People are here for weekend weddings. People are here for festivals. People are here for graduations. It's hard not to make money. Now you can shoot yourself in the foot and not make money, but you have to have a lot more skill, a lot more tools in the toolbox when you don't have the demand. So one of the strategies that we did is we have a hybrid model, meaning that in the high season, we shut down our room bookings and we just do whole house bookings. It's fewer days in the space, higher average daily rate. It's just a nicer way. It's like the uh quarterback throwing a 40 or 50-yard pass with 2 minutes on the clock versus someone, needing the ball for 15 minutes to get a touchdown or a field goal. Now, the second situation is how we handle the low season. All right. Low season, I'll either do a direct booking um through ads on Facebook Marketplace or using some other platforms, or I'll go directly through Airbnb. And there's a nuance to that. But so I guess my wins for the week, I gave you the backstory to share this. For my wins for the week, I have about 70% of my properties right now where the rooms are going to shut down in the next 15 days. And I'm pushing all of those room rentals to the other 30% of my properties. So the 70 that remains, what we're doing is we're basically full house bookings. And I thought this was interesting. I set up a duplicate listing yesterday at about 8 p.m. Got up this morning for a $4,000 booking because someone's coming in to town for our Lilac Festival and they need a space for 2 weeks. It's all about alignment, y'all. I mean, and this is the takeaway. It's not so much about being in the right place at the right time, but it is more about being aligned. It's about preparing. It's about just having your systems and having your policies already lined up. So when you get good news, when people have a need for what you have to offer, you're ready to roll. You're ready to roll. So that was my huge win for the week. One down. We got 10 to go. And then my other big win for the week, success story, is family, right? My son is transitioning out of the military. He's going to be relocating to the fourth biggest city in the Union, Houston, Texas. And his older brother flew down to greet him, flew from New York to Atlanta, Georgia, so they can drive up to Houston, Texas over the next 3 days. And then we have a footprint in Houston. We're going to be bringing the family business there. So that's truly the success or the wins for the week on my end. And I see, oh, wow, Cornell did join us. Cornell, do you have any wins for you, buddy, before we get into marketplace questions?
Actually, had actually some wins for this week. I know like you were just talking about business. I actually had actually had a win, small win, but I would say I actually had a recurrent actual guest give me another 5-star review. So that might be a small win throughout the week, but that was kind of big for me to see two of them in a row from the same person. That was one business win this week for me. And when it comes to family, when it comes to another win this week, when it comes to family, I'm supposed to be celebrating. I know I had a birthday in the family coming up. My mom's birthday this weekend. We're supposed to be celebrating. It's always a huge win when you yourself or a family member have another year on this earth by the grace of God. So that's a huge win when it comes to family. And another one you were just talking about the whole house. I actually started that actually with one of my places started I created a whole house listing, which was different for me. I actually did that and started to see some tractions on that. So that was three of my wins I had for this week so far.
All right, man. Excellent. Excellent. So yeah, and maybe it'll come up when we talk about marketplace questions. But yeah, when does your low season transition officially into your high season?
That usually happens about that usually happens right around at the end of April. So like towards like the end of April, that's when high season starts for me.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a great way of kind of looking at it. And what I'm telling some other people who are kind of time the market is if you can pick up a property 30 to 60 days before the high season ends or high season begins, you're literally catching the wave.
Yep.
And some people will tell you, and I don't think they mean any harm, but it's not the best way of doing it, that any time is a good time to pick up a property. I'm gonna push back because I will tell you firsthand, I picked up properties when we were coming out of the high season. And when you're coming out of the high season, your overhead, although your income is going down, the overhead don't stop. And in many cases, I've either given back the property if it's a rental arbitrage situation, or I've ended the agreement if it's a co-listing agreement because the landlord had unfulfilled expectations. So they expected this, and then 90 days into it, they didn't see the returns that they were expecting. So, I thought about a couple ways of approaching it, but I think my best way of approaching it is I'm going to time the market. I'm going to time the market. It's better to manage what's working as you go into a slow market than to try to scale something that, the algorithm, because you already know, and our visitors may not know this, Cornell, a new listing, there's a time frame for the algorithm to start picking up.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight.
No.
So, but yeah, man, just kind of thinking out loud on your side of the world, man, any interesting any market worthy things going on that we can share with our audience?
Marketplace, anything going on? No, not really. Like the facts that you touched on. Besides those wins, not really. Did have a question for the marketplace. Yeah, I did
Okay.
have a question for the marketplace. One of my questions for the marketplace was, I know you actually do whole house and everything. Um, Actually, like when you do the entire home, do you still? I know you don't allow pets, but do you allow children with the whole house with people? Because usually with the whole house, people travel with people with them. Do
I
you allow kids or you
so
don't?
so so here's the truth of the matter. I have a situation where pets will be allowed,
Hmm.
and I do double down on the family side of it. Now, so here's the interesting fun fact. For the whole house, I add additional family related amenities that I wasn't adding when we were just focusing on our professional business travelers. And then because I've added all those amenities on the listing, I am one of those guys, I'm going to sell it before I need it. So I'm just not going to buy something to have it sit in the corner. So I'm going to say, we provide ABC. Now, so if my guest tells me, hey, I'm looking for that rice cooker that you mentioned. Guess what McCrae's going out to get? I'll get the rice cooker. I ain't buying a rice cooker for every house, but I'm gonna put it on every listing. If they ask for it and they want it, then I'm gonna purchase it. You see how I'm trying to reverse engineer that thing?
Yep. Same.
So it'll be kid friendly. I'll have a high chair. I'll even have a crib there. And when they request it, then I'll make that trip to Home Depot or to Lowe's or wherever I need to go. Was there another aspect of the question that you were thinking about though?
No, it was just really just that. Actually, like, do you allow kids? And you pretty much do. You do allow children on your whole house reservations?
I do.
Okay, okay. I just didn't think you do. Kids can make a mess and everything, but the whole house, they usually travel more than one person. So group.
So I had a real crazy experience, and I'll
Yeah.
share it with you. We're trying to make money for our landlords. It's the low season. I took in a local with a child.
Wow.
Worst mistake. Through Airbnb.
Uh,
Airbnb reimbursed us. This child had crayon all over the refrigerator. I mean, it was a mess.
Oh,
And so when I look back on the whole situation and think about the course corrections, I just think it's easier to keep a child entertained over a weekend or over a vacation scenario than to have a child in a house for a month or 2 month stay. And
okay.
she just was not being a good parent. She wasn't being a good human. In fact, I mean, we ended up, doing extra charges to our cleaning team when she left
Oh
because not
man.
only was there crayon, it was just, it was just nasty. It was just nasty. And I'm glad the silver lining of it all was this is someone that wanted to do a direct booking with me early on.
Really?
And with the direct booking, that requires some skill because you're taking them people off the app. You don't have that Airbnb protection. It requires you to navigate where you're going to ask for them for a security deposit up front. You're going to ask them to sign a lease. There's a whole lot of other steps that are not crazy, but they're just not turnkey like Airbnb.
Yeah.
I'm glad we did not take her off the Airbnb app. That would have been a nightmare.
Wow. Nightmare.
Indeed.
Yeah. Cause I know I have a whole house request, but they have about four adults and 3 children. So I'm just like,
Why
maybe.
why why are they in the area?
So they're actually in the area, visiting family, that who live in the area, and they think the place would be a great fit for them. But
And where are they from?
they haven't they haven't responded back yet where they're from, but it cannot be a local.
Right. Absolutely not. Absolutely
Absolutely
not.
not. Locals are, what?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's the upside of taking them on? What profit would you generate?
Um, it's looking like a $1,400 booking for about a few days. It looks like about 4 or 5 days.
1,400. Yeah. I mean, I think for you, your average rent is how much?
That's usually like what, 2,000?
2,000. So, you're basically 4 or 5 days picking up $1,400. I mean, so literally, you just need 5 more days, and the rent is covered. You're totally
Yeah.
profited.
When you think about it like that, yep. That's the difference
Yeah.
between whole houses and rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Especially with dynamic pricing.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the dynamic pricing is it does good, especially during high season. That right there, it does good. Yeah, especially on the
Yeah.
weekends.
Yeah. So I think that's the thing to do. really, consider vetting them as hard as you can, and maybe picking out that up. So, everybody's different. Like, I am never going to say one way is superior over another, but I do believe there is some merit to working smart and not working hard.
Yeah,
I think whole house book. I think it's you must work smarter and harder to sustain room bookings for the duration, as opposed to the whole house.
okay. Just I
You
think
have
it's harder. Okay.
Yeah, you have to have more systems in place, and your
Mm-hmm.
systems have to be tight to do room bookings.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
I've
clearly it's
noticed.
working. Yeah, clearly
Mm-hmm.
it's working because you and I and others have done it for multiple years. But there's another way of skinning a cat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I noticed some places on the market, they'll some places have pools or some places have different amenities and they're going for pretty good decent numbers per night. So it could average out to be even more than rooms sometimes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, all right. Well, Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and all of the other places we are streaming. We're at the top of the hour. I hope between the Airbnb fun facts, the crazy but real guest interactions, and hearing the success stories, you are inspired to take action and start your journey on entrepreneurship without needing to own the property. Um, in the queue, I'm gonna have my information. I'm gonna have Cornell's information. If you want to reach out to us by way of Facebook or any of those social platforms, just to pick our brains, I'll at your boy. All right. So as always, Cornell, be blessed, but more importantly,
Blessing.
be a blessing. Take care, everybody.
Amen. Take care, everybody.